Hey, how's it going? This is Mr. Hernandez, and I am going to be going over this performance task for Math 1. So the first thing I want you to notice is there's two racers. Jovian has this graph to represent his races, where it says right here race number one. He ran it in 15 minutes, which is a 2 mile race. Race number two, he ran it in 14 minutes and 25 seconds, which is less than 15 minutes. So his race time is improving. You can see 14 minutes, 25 seconds, 14 minutes, and 0.016 seconds. And so that's Jovian. And then here you have Alec with his race. It's determined by an equation. So here Jovian has a graph. You have to determine his race time by the graph, and Alec's race time is given by this equation, where n is the number of minutes. So if you plug in 1 minute, you're gonna have to multiply this 0.5 times n, which is 1, let's say, or 2 minutes is negative 0.5 times 2, and then plus the 18. So that's an equation how to determine what his race time is. You plug it in, and then the question is, which athlete should the coaches take to the league finals? Well, the coaches should take an athlete that runs this race in the lowest amount of time, right? The fastest that player runs it, the better. So you're looking for the lowest amount of time here. Okay, so looking at race number 8, well, you have to determine based on the graph and the equation race number 8. So here's the race numbers down here on the bottom. So if you're looking at race number 8, you're looking down here, and then you're going to go up to see where it is on this graph, and then basically its corresponding minutes. If you're looking for race number 8 here, you're going to have to plug in an 8 right here where the n is, and then you're going to multiply it with this negative 0.5. And then once you get that, then you add it to the 18, and then that's the race time for race number 8. And again, you want to determine who has the lowest amount. Okay, so this is going to be by hand. You're going to have to do this by hand. So this is what you're going to basically write on a piece of paper, and be able to attach this picture of this work to this assignment in Google Classroom. So here you're going to graph the race time for Alec. Okay, so in order to graph it, you gotta basically look at this here. If you're graphing it by hand, something that might come in handy is turning this into a fraction. So 0.5 as a fraction is 1/2, and because it's negative, we're gonna put a negative there. And so you could put an n plus 18. So if you graph this, on this paper here, or on this screen, you'll be able to write directly on it. You could draw on it, and once you graph it, then you'll basically there's on the bottom of this screen there's a T for a text box, and you'll use that to type into this area over here. And you're gonna explain how the graph shows that that this is correct. Whatever the race times were for race number 8. Based on the graph now, and then comparing and contrasting what is the same about their two graphs. Maybe after you graph the other one, this one you could graph. This would be a line. If you use Desmos, you could graph that on Desmos. So it'd be negative 1/2 n plus 18. But in Desmos, you're gonna want to use x instead. So negative 1 divided by 2, and then you're gonna have to move to the right. X plus 18 is going to give you this graph. And so you could basically use Desmos. You could even click on this gear symbol at the top, and then click on duplicate, and then make this table. So you could basically have as many points as you need. And if you click on those points on the graph, they'll basically tell you which points they are. So that's a tool that you can use, is Desmos, and to be able to get this graph on there. And you're basically going to say who has the fastest race time, right? And then comparing and contrasting, you know, what's different about them. And then how about race number 9? So basically you'll do the same thing that you did on race number 8, except with race number 9 you could you know, pretty much look at the graph on both of them, or you can use the equation for Alex to determine race number 9. And then after that, you're going to determine which athlete should the coaches take to the league final. So whoever has the lowest race time, that's who they should take. So you have to determine who that's going to be. Now, each of these categories, this is 4 points for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 categories. So that's a total of 20 points. All right. Now, in order to get the full credit, you're going to need to do be on this level here. And so for this one, you got to have the right solutions. Solve for x. Here you got to use the right equations. You know, use the right formulas. Here you're going to need to have the right graph, the right key features, which are like the y-intercepts and the slopes. For the written and verbal, these are all the words that you can use to justify who's going to go to the league finals. So if you use these words in a way that makes sense, you're going to get a 3. But to get the full 4, you need to make a Flipgrid video, which the link is attached. If you use some of these words but it doesn't make sense, you know, like you might be able to go here. If you don't even attempt it, you get a 0. But if you could get at least a 1 if you attempt these things. And then also, does it make sense as you talk about it? And so, yeah, that's this performance task. So if you have any questions, you can email me, and good luck.